Here's how I destroyed the #1 ranked Madden player in the world. I'll be breaking down my unique offensive and defensive strategies so you can use these elite tactics and start beating top players yourself. So let's get into it. My opponent was Magic K SEO, the #1 player in the world with an insane record of 109 and 43. And right out of the gate, he lined up in the formation empty tray. Whenever I see empty sets, my first question is, how can he handle pressure? Most empty formations struggle against heavy blitzes without any extra blockers. So I called pinch buck 0 out of 3-4 odd. Here's the blitz setup. First, spread the D line. Second, show blitz with linebackers. Third, zone out the end opposite of the blitz. Fourth, QB spy the D tackle opposite of the blitz. This setup usually brings major heat against 5-man protections. But Magic adjusted as there was a tight end attached to the line, which gave him an extra player to block, and he picked up the blitz perfectly. At the snap, Magic went straight for the big play by throwing to his glitchy man-beating route by the outside wide receiver. My shaded overtop coverage bit down, the receiver snapped vertically, and boom, one play touchdown on his opening drive. The way my opponent destroyed my man coverage was by putting a C route on his outside wide receiver and stemming it all the way up. This sometimes makes the man defenders bite down and leave the receiver open as he cuts upfield. After witnessing this, I knew I couldn't run the same coverage the rest of the game. It was time to mix in new looks and start adapting on defense. Now on offense, I ran a variation of my Vikings offensive game plan on playbookprofessor.gg, starting in strong close, then audibling to gun bunch tight end and gun tight flex weak. Quick pro tip, to audible between these formations, put your fastest wide receiver at your gadget, a running back at fullback, and put the gadget at halfback package on in the formation screen. The first play, I ran halfback stretch with my wide receiver at running back to make Magic respect the ground game. Even against top players, picking up 6 yards sets the tone. On the very next play, I audibled to RPO alert bubble and put the receiver on a flat, which makes the RPO nearly unstoppable versus zone or man. I threw it to the flat, and with just good enough blocking to the outside, I picked up an easy first down. Later in the drive, I ran the play wide receiver out. The adjustments are to have the tight end lined up to the wide side, stem up the curl route 2 times with the D-pad, put the solo wide receiver on a return, and block the running back. My first read in the play was the speed table route, but this was tightly guarded. My second read was the tight end post, but was also defended with tight man defense and the user. My return and curl were also locked up. Instead of forcing the ball, I stepped up in the pocket and scrambled for a clutch first down. After losing 4 yards running halfback stretch, I switched to my every defense beater motion bunch whip smash, and I was able to hit my last read to make it a 3rd and short. I then went for a big play, but my receiver was unable to hold onto the ball. On 4th and 1, I went to fullback dive, motioned out my halfback, made fake hot route adjustments to make my opponent think I was passing, then I successfully converted on 4th down. With a new life, I went back to wide receiver out, but ran the play flipped with the tight end to the short side. At the snap, I read my flat was defended, so I took my eyes to the middle of the field and found my return route with a pass lead to the outside, following my blocks and almost scoring a touchdown. After getting run stuffed 2 times, I reverted to the play mesh and freestyled a setup where I put the outside bunch wide receiver on a stemmed up in route. At the snap, the underneath was defended, which opened up the in route for a big touchdown. Back on defense, I lined up in nickel 2-4 running cover 4 drop with my flat set to 10 yards. This setup makes my opponent work for every play. After a quick scramble, I switched to my favorite blitz, Overstorm Brave, but kept the coverage shell on cover 4. This disguises the blitz so it looks just like the previous cover 4 play, confusing the offense. Here's how I set up the blitz. Spread the D-line, show blitz with linebackers, user one of the blitzing linebackers, and hover over the offensive guard on the same side as your other linebacker. Put the opposite D-end in a zone, and optionally assign the opposite D-tackle as a QB spy. At the snap, you want to press the D-pad to the right or to the side of the D-end in a zone. This switch lets the user take control of the D-end while the original user linebacker engages with the offensive line. I didn't execute the switch perfectly here, but the blitz still forced a throwaway. On 3rd and 4, I returned a cover 4 drop and positioned my user the same way to mimic the blitz, making my opponent unsure if I'm blitzing or not. I adjusted by shading underneath, manning up my user linebacker to the tight end, and manning up the other linebacker to the slot wide receiver. I then shaded inside to cover crossers and put a QB spy on the D tackle. At the snap, I flick the right stick to the right to switch to the hard flat so I can guard any comeback routes or crossers. The man-ups locked down the tight end's curl and the slot wide receiver, while the 10-yard flat took the out route. My opponent threw a desperation pass that was somehow caught by his tight end. The next play, I ran the Overstorm Brave Blitz again, and I switch-sticked properly with the D-pad, creating crazy pressure and forcing an incompletion. I then went back to my cover 4 drop and generated instant edge pressure. On 3rd and long, I ran the same defense, switch-stick to the flat to guard the crosser, and again created heavy pressure. On 4th and 18, I put the flats and hooks on 20-yard zone drops, creating a defensive wall at the first down marker. As the play developed, I switched to my flat to guard the deep crosser and forced a turnover on downs. On offense, before halftime, I had a chance to go up a score, so I dialed up motion mesh spot from the Vikings game plan and picked up easy yards hitting the auto motion wheel. With a minute left, I started chewing clock with a run. Then on 3rd and 6, I called PA Scissors. This play is a man and zone destroyer by placing the wide receiver on a slot fade and optionally the running back on a curl. At the snap, the flat and corner are my first reads, but when they were covered, I went to the slot fade, which burned his defender for a pass lead up an easy touchdown. I wanted to chew clock, but Magic gave me the touchdown, so I took it. Back on defense with a minute to go, I blitzed using Overstorm Brave for a big QB hit, mixed in cover 4 with man adjustments on 2nd down, then got a 3rd down sack, forcing a punt with 44 seconds left. Now I called PA Verticals, using my glitchy man beater that also torches cover 3 for a 1-play touchdown. For this setup, flip the bunch to the wide side of the field, put the outside wide receiver on a return, stem the post down all the way, put the inside wide receiver on a fade, and corner route the tight end, then block or put a Texas route on the running back. The post and fade combo can make defenders bump, usually freeing either the fade or post for huge gains down the field just like this. But I went down at the 5 to kill the half, preventing Magic from scoring before the second half. Then on 3rd and goal, I ran the play QB zone, helping me get in the end zone, going up 21-7 at the half. To start the second half, I kept my foot on the gas, running the play mesh spot rail, which has a powerful short corner route that torched Magic's man defense for an 87-yard touchdown. This is another play on playbookprofessor.gg. Magic answered fast with a deep shot, but was just a millisecond away from getting sacked. Luckily for him, his wide receiver made an amazing play and scored a touchdown, but I responded with PA Verticals again, busting his man defense again for a big touchdown, going up 35-14. On defense, I knew he wanted to go to his tight end, so I manned up the tight end and shaded to the inside to guard crossers. This adjustment caged the tight end post, forcing Magic to throw a contested ball, ending in a huge interception for me. Offensively, I started hitting my flats and running my overpowered RPOs, which set up my next play out of PA Scissors. The adjustments are to put the tight end on the wide side, put the tight end on a drag, return the wide receiver, and swing the running back. At the snap, my quick reads were covered, so I took my eyes to the high-low between the return and dig. Since both were open, I hit the dig for massive yards. Later, I got stopped in the red zone, but my defense stepped up with a late safety, putting relentless pressure on Magic, the score now being 37-14. With just a few minutes to go, I continued using my overpowered offensive setups, creating unstoppable defensive pressure and unique strategies, beating the #1 ranked player in the world 56-21. If you want to learn more about my schemes, how to beat top Madden players, and win more games, check out playbookprofessor.gg with the link at the top of my description. And be sure to comment any questions down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.